Welcome to Colorful Journeys of Success. Clare Mullin, producer, host, and author of Color Wheeling for Success, explores with her guests the stages of success in their lives. This show highlights leaders, teachers, coaches, mentors, and even parents who are role models who help change our world. How have you succeeded, and who was your teacher and inspiration? Now, who are the people you teach and inspire? Listen to and watch our fascinating guests as they share colorful stories of success and how they help inspire. Now, here's Clare, the color wheeling lady and our host.
Welcome to Colorful Journey of Success. My name is Clare Mullin. I'm the producer and host, and it's my pleasure to give a wonderful show that is on a fascinating topic. It's all about Feng Shui. And the delightful lady that is a practitioner, and she has so much expertise. So it's my really honor to welcome Aelita Leto. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Nice.
You are a fascinating person. You're absolutely fascinating. You know, we have become friends. This has been a wonderful experience. And I thought for sure this is a wonderful topic and fascinating. A lot of people don't really understand what it is. So in your way, please explain, what is Feng Shui?
Oh, gladly I will. Neither you are aware what is Feng Shui, it still works. So Feng Shui in general terms is art and science to interact and reflect the environment and your own space. That also involves the environment of your intentions, your mindset, your goals, that everything suits your surround.
Well, it's more than I realized. Now, the practice, okay, it is a practice. It is what? A science?
It's a science for sure, because there's a lot of principles based on sacred geometry or chemistry, biology, physics, mathematics, also artistry, philosophy, sociology, you can name it all. But it just comes also from the ancient art that is somehow integrated also in our Western living.
And it is specifically Asian?
It has a
or
roots,
history?
Historically, the very, very first historical roots of practicing, or I would say applying Feng Shui, I would have to go back to the nomads living that long ago.
Really?
Yes.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Well, you have certainly developed your own area of expertise. So what is your background? Share with us your background.
Happy to. I'm originally from Latvia. I studied physics, mathematics. I always loved the rearranging and be aware of the environment in general. Feng Shui is not just an interior design, I just want to make that clear, but the awareness in general terms of your surroundings and how to integrate with that has really helped and transitioned. And when I moved to the United States, I also noticed that there are such a high facilities to get the certification, and two of the institutions that I applied, one of them is a Golden Gate School of Feng Shui, and that's also includes like 300 plus practical hours applying Feng Shui, but then be applying for many years, and also being apprentice to the master Don Wan Tang.
So are there levels of expertise?
I would say so. I would like to make sure that just a one weekend of Feng Shui course or workshop is maybe will build up some tiny awareness, but the true art and science develops through the years. And there's a great saying, what says about who is a master of Feng Shui? Not only knowledge, but there is this intuitive and knowledge combined, and when you don't know, when it doesn't separate, but its application is there, you can say that it's a mastery of Feng Shui.
Well, it's fascinating to me, and I know that years ago I met a woman who was also a practitioner, and she came to my home and she, I guess, created a report. I'm not, but then a lot of things happened after that, like a tree fall on my house, and just all sorts of, and so it kind of like changed my life. And I had to make a lot of changes to my home. And so I thought, well, I'm going to start that again and I found you. And so this has been, like I said, a wonderful experience. Absolutely wonderful experience. I love the before and the after. I love the after. That's what's so fun. And as you say, we're still not finished.
We're not finished.
But the changes have been phenomenal.
Thank you.
Really, the amazing changes. And so thank you very much. But let's continue. Let's talk more about, to help people know a little bit more, because there's what is called a bagua. There's, you know, there's what are the tools?
Well, the school of Feng Shui are kind of created on the basic principles. One of the principles that's common to all the schools are awareness of Tao, or the way of living. The other principle that everybody probably have heard is the yin and yang, was a Tai Chi symbol. You know, things are reversed, like in a constant motion. And also 5-element theory that's also applied in Feng Shui. This is most common to all schools. And in addition to that, I also practice by using the Lupin compass, the compass school. I do create the awareness of your natural forces in the environment, in alignment with your current space where you live, where you occupy, and in connection with your, Chinese would say, your natal chart. It's based on your date of birth. So there's definitely individual aspect has been added to your space.
That's a beautiful tool.
Yeah, that would state the, well, you right now, you kind of having two tools side by side. So one of the Asian tools, which is the Lupin compass, and then I have my iPad that's pretty much helps me to operate with the data and present in more professional way my practice.
And I think it's amazing, because we're talking about ancient practice, right? And here we have an iPad and an iPhone, because when you were showing me things on your iPad, then you said make these changes or whatever, then I could go off on my own and make the changes with my iPhone.
Right, right.
So I guess that's really modern Feng Shui.
Well, I think it's for any human being, the visual aspect to see it, because sometimes even when you not really you are kind of accustomed to certain flow, a certain feel in your place.
Yes.
But when you invite somebody from outside, we have completely like a fresh vision. What's in your space, right? And we start noticing certain things that actually has been kind of part of your living. Sometimes not necessarily the best ones as habits or the worst one, but they are still part of it. And all those either habits or items or clutter or attachment to certain things, they also create the energy field, and they impact a cumulative impact through the years if we don't pay attention.
And I think what was so fantastic for me was the inspiration. And so whether it's Feng Shui, or whether it's you, or whether it's me just creating change, the energy, the inspiration was that tremendous motivation to start making the changes. So right from the sidewalk into my home, it's a different look, completely different look.
What I think when you notice through my practice, it's never enough with just the initial visit. And the relationship that I create with my clients do last in years. And because we are living in a constant changed environment. We age, we move jobs, we have new ideas, new goals, and we constantly in the motion to kind of invite that change into your own space.
So you're really building a relationship, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yes. definitely,
Absolutely.
with your clients.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's a must. I think because there's so much information, and I almost become like a kind of teacher, tutor of the knowledge that
Right.
when I come back to your space, there's so much more you know, and there's so many more things that you're aware of that you could start noticing, and you kind of connect more to your own space and also kind of expand your horizon to the world.
So what would you say to a person that says, oh, I don't believe in that?
That's okay. That's okay, because it works either you believe it or not. There's some physical field. There's the, that's energy field, because we are live beings. We are energy beings, and there's a constant interaction with the certain items, certain spaces, the place we get. There's no impact us. Even we don't have to touch it, but we are actually sensing it.
Okay, so what do you do when, I understand when you start working with a client, you have kind of like an aerial view in terms of direction.
Yeah.
What happens when the home is sitting in the wrong direction? I don't know how else to put it.
Well, there's no wrong or right direction.
All right.
Okay. There's possibly, potentially, the best direction could be, right? But I think there's a more important aspect. Do you love your home? Do you love your space? And if there's a disconnect, then we start figuring it out. This is when I bring my tools. Is the client matches the home or not? And that's by identifying the 8 directions in your Baza Mingwa relationship, more complicated tools. And which areas in your house you neglect, for example, which areas in your house you actually just do as a storage and not even walk in those rooms. There's all those things do impact your environment, and through the time frame, it start also accumulating and showing it off.
Okay, so I'm going to bring this up.
Sure.
My binder, my home. And so it was wonderful for you to be able to, first of all, create now what is this called, referred to as?
Yeah, it would say that's the 8-directional map, but that's is in combination with your home and your personal direction, your gua. It's all in one.
It's all in one.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how you have colored the different directions, the different sections or in the circle as to, why don't you kind of like talk about it, because you're the practitioner. I just made a copy of it and put it in a binder, and that's starting to keep all of the records of change.
So from the perspective, this is our sketch that we created on our first meeting.
Oh,
right? So it's very really a hand created. Right now there's more fancy, more improved programs that we have usually included in our report. But when I arrived at your place, very basic to analyze how your home, where it sits and what it faces, where the chi, the energy, when you walk into your home, where transition takes place, it's very important. And how smooth the transition is, or how let's say by form, how it travels within your space. That's all gives me some guidance in general. What happens, what is the potential at that time and frame. And when we'll see your before images, obviously you walk me through your space.
Yes.
So there's the only way that I could approach was from your south, and that's why I would say your house was facing south direction and sitting in a north direction. That's where your garden, your fallen down tree was, and all the damage. And we start thinking what is, and each of those directions are relate to certain areas. Let's say south would relate to relationships, southeast of prosperity and health, in east, clear thinking, manifestation. All these terms are included in those areas.
So people that have never had this experience, then would it help them to know that if you have a particular area such as prosperity or whatever, then whatever's happening in that particular area needs to be changed?
Yeah, or improved.
Improved.
So what I always look, I'll look for what is working already. Where's a good thing? So where's that, I would say, juicy chi? You know, where is the supportive element of chi that enters and helps you to support you? And in your area, when your front house and more to the, it was your master bedroom, your office, your main entrance, are all in this very bright, good receiving chi. Okay, so that was already a great indication of overall. And the next step was, which areas are we neglecting? And we have talked about that.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I have it on my list, my to-do list. I also have it on my little list on my iPhone. All right, and so for people that have not experienced this, tell them more. Let's see, what is the kind of overall ballpark figure of that type of service?
It depends on how large the project, but it's between 500 to 1,500, and the consultation will be last at least, my connectiveness to the client will be at least for 6 months, or depends on their speed of changes. I always work with the things that they have. I'm not interior designer that will come and, you know, move your walls. But we work what you have, and I really kind of help you to identify the priority of the list. And then we go step-by-step process, and you start noticing you're kind of becoming your reference point.
So you're like the guide.
Yeah, your guide.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that many people would love to make changes in their home, but maybe they would need a contractor, or they would need someone to come in and do the work. I found that there are certain skills that you have that another person might not have. And of course, having the painters and
reading the chi.
Yeah, but it helped me because then I was able to create a list of a task list, you might say, and a design program.
Right.
And I feel that the changes have been just phenomenal. And it's maybe just working, you know, I really enjoyed working with you.
I think the chi, that's what gets shifted. So one of the skill of the Feng Shui consultant is to read the chi flow in your space. And that was the greatest success, because you as a client were incredible listener. And adding the understanding of the associative thinking, understanding the examples that I was bringing you, connecting to the certain items. And I think we want to reflect especially your living room, how we rearranged. There was the same pieces of furniture, right? There was easy, simple, but within a half an hour, rearranging.
Amazing change.
We shifted. That's
and it was kind of like you're opening up spaces.
Right.
And then you found the picture of my father's horse.
I did.
That was amazing. It was kind of like my just for the people listening, my father always loved horses. He had his horse, his special favorite horse, actually had a portrait painted of his favorite horse.
Right. He's watching after you.
And so after he passed away, I took all of his belongings and kind of like stored them. So that picture was way in the back of the house in a bedroom. I never looked at it. And ironically, you come out with this picture of the horse, and you're saying this is the year of the horse, and you were so excited, and you put it on the wall right by the grand piano, and the color tones and everything look beautiful. I would never have thought that. So
thank you.
It took someone else to see that.
I think that's what we need to go back to certain items or certain things or certain collections. And this is a common term, decluttering. Okay, sometimes decluttering is just simply shifting the energy, or shifting your own perception, or shifting this field, energy field, how you connect to the items. And I think each client in a different situation find those items, or find connectiveness point, or restate the names for those items that become kind of supporters of their goals or their dreams. And I think your relationship brought so many beautiful stories that I learned who your family was, and how big impact it was, and how it almost like felt that he is in your room physically, because the character that you were able to relate with that painting and bring it, and how he greets every time you now enter the room is just magnificent. Right in the ancestor area, which is the ancestral
the whole front, when you walk in the home, is so completely different. But it's also how the like, I had a lot of older furniture, older pieces, and yes, they were pretty, but they didn't really. It's kind of like they were not necessarily connected in a sense, where there was a connect, almost like a circle. And the family art, the beautiful rocking chairs from my grandparents from Portugal. It's like you just kind of like put all of these wonderful special pieces in the right place, and it just flows.
Yeah, I think that's where you had that. I think that was the greatest success, latest greatest success, working with you with this room. As I know, we are not done with the house, but the main areas that were important, that support you in daily being.
And then what's incredible about making those types of changes, it changes a person's attitude. It changes a person's life.
Absolutely.
Their whole mood, their whole attitude. It's been phenomenal.
It's one of the things I was saying, the Feng Shui consultant becomes like a catalyst, that little needle that pokes you around and makes you move around and accept or not accept, but it brings the change.
I think so. I think so. And you know, ironically, today I was thinking, I think for this television show, it would be wonderful to have a beautiful, fresh orchid. And I was thinking, because my orchids are blooming in my backyard, I was going to try and pot them or whatever and get them down to the studio. And you drive up, and what do you have? You have an orchid. It was like you were reading my mind. I just couldn't believe that. It was just, oh, it's like you had a magic wand. Anyway, but I think that to go back here to the professional service of a person, a practitioner. Now, do you call them a representative, a practitioner, a consultant? What's the proper term?
Myself, I go by Feng Shui practitioner, because I practice in daily basis.
All right.
And it's also as a consultant. So practitioner, consultant would be the same.
All right. All right. Good. Want to make sure that the information in this show, I want to make sure that the people watching are really getting a good feel for what's it like to work with a practitioner. I know we did one other show, and that was more about the history of Feng Shui, and that was a very important show also. But this particular show, I think, is working with a practitioner, and I think that's where it really comes into play. And I know, having these files that you presented with me to me, I think it was very professionally laid out, and I was just very impressed. And I do believe there is a lot more to Feng Shui than a lot of people realize. I hope that this particular show is going to be very helpful for other people, and I look forward to working with you, continuing to work with you, but just being a wonderful connectedness and friend. This has been a wonderful development of a friendship.
Thank you, Claire.
Now, do you have any particular last-minute words of wisdom that you'd like to give to the audience?
Words of wisdom, just for this year?
Oh, wow, a word of wisdom.
Word of wisdom.
3 words.
Accept
Okay.
and love.
Accept and love.
Because the place, if you accept it, it loves you back.
And you can really connect with your environment.
I think after work we've done, you have rebuilt unique connection with your place.
Absolutely. So, Aelita, thank you so much.
Thank you, Claire.
This has been wonderful, and I look forward to working with you and knowing you the rest of my life, and it'll be wonderful.
It's a destiny.
And bringing more orchids and having more fun. This is a game, and this is so, so wonderful. So I hope that the people get a good feel for what Feng Shui really is. And if they'd like to be interviewed, I would love to talk to them also. I'd love to hear their story, what they have to offer to the community. This is all about to the community. And Colorful Journey of Success was a show that I started a long time ago. And it's the whole idea is your success story and how you're helping other people succeed.
Thank you.
So I certainly hope that the people watching will remember Colorful Journey of Success for sure, and Feng Shui, Aelita. So welcome, and thank you so much for coming again.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire.
Been a wonderful show.
Thank you for having me.
So bye for now.